98.7 FM KOFO and KOFO.com. Well, joining us this week as we are fully masked up. Of course, Coach is in his black and yellow. I'm just in straight up black because
slimming.
Yeah,
that's why I choose it as well.
Well, I need all the help I can get, and otherwise I would look like I could play offensive line for you. Which, by the way, again, I still have eligibility available, and you might need it. So
yes, depth-wise, during these COVID days, we definitely want to build depth. We would probably have you come out.
I could do something possibly that other than be laughed at for being on the field. So, Coach, we're back to practice. This is awesome.
Yeah, I know. We got to actually go out and do some football stuff for the last 2 days now. So it's a lot better than sitting and staring at walls and getting in about 20 minutes of just running around in straight lines. So I've had a chance to get out and practice yesterday, and today we went a little bit longer. So kind of build up through this week.
And for people who may not be aware of it, the game this weekend is postponed. It will be pushed back to the spring. So looking at March 27th for the makeup game with Avila. And this time, really, it's nothing to do with COVID per se, but the health and safety of your players is paramount because of not practicing in almost a month.
Yeah.
They're really could run the risk of some serious injuries.
Yeah, 3-week layoff. One of the things that they looked at is obviously that each player that maybe tested positive and that was sick is a return to play, and so do the teams. And we were basically in a quarantine or a shutdown for about 3 weeks. So no practices, maybe a little bit of, like we talked about, a little bit in the room workouts, which are not the same thing as obviously playing football. This last week we got out and we could run for about 20 minutes is about all they let us out. And now we finally get into some practices and you can tell that we haven't done anything for 3 weeks. So yeah, it's a lot of just trying to get everybody back up just to playing football again.
Well, and that's something that we did discuss during these few weeks without was the possibility of rust or just getting way out of game shape, and so now you have to rebuild that up. Is it almost going into a preseason fall camp type mode?
It kind of is, where, we basically for the last couple of days, we talked about a lot of stuff in meetings over the last 3 weeks because we've met with the guys basically every day. We had some kind of a meeting with them. We tried to do some in-room workouts when we get outside. We tried to do some of that, but it was taking some of the things that we talked about and the videos that we'd watched and putting it live and in person, and then just going back and saying, okay, you guys remember which way we go on this play and which way you go on that play, the things that we put in the very first day. So the fortunate thing is they've had some pretty decent retention, so it's not like we're starting with day one insertion. But it's a lot getting lined up and, getting into the right place and being able to move and go 2 or 3 plays without having to stop and gasp for air.
Depth-wise, how has this layoff affected? Are you obviously any injury should hopefully be healed, but are you still waiting for some players to get the all clear to come back?
Yes, we are. We're working through, still some of the things with eligibility we were working on before the break, and we're still finishing those things up. But then also we're working with, the kids that are in different quarantine states, because we went into a quarantine as a team, but then also you have to work with kids individually. So if a kid were to get sick during the time we were in quarantine, then potentially they start a different clock, and so everybody's got all these different clocks running, and so we're not back to full strength, everybody out of practice yet. We're hoping that by the time we get to the early part next week, we have that back.
You mentioned with getting eligibility worked out. Is this an NAI issue where things are just not moving quick enough?
Well, no, it's more important of our kids not getting didn't get their paperwork in, and then when they got stuck in their rooms, when they could have been doing some of the stuff, they weren't they weren't as motivated because they were stuck in their room. So it was getting them to get that back done again. I know.
Wait. Now hold on here. I don't know of any young men between the ages of teenager to early 20s who would just lose motivation to do anything that would be responsible.
I know, it's surprising to me too. So
it's not like I run through that in my household on a regular basis.
I know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking news.
Yeah, I know. Parents, we hardly ever see that. So it's kind of surprising when you do.
So, will this be an episode on Monday Night Countdown of Come On Man?
Come on, yeah, definitely. There's been some come on mans that we've had at practice for the last couple of days. Like, really, seriously, you do know your right from your left. I mean, we haven't forgotten that already, have we?
Well, we'd hope not. At this point in time,
it's the one that makes the L.
Exactly, it's the one that makes the L. That's a phrase that goes into our house too a lot sometimes. Namely, probably for me because of head injuries. But,
yeah,
that's a different story. So, getting things going, are you kind of building at a? You can't be super slow, but you still gotta build to a crescendo here.
Yeah, we're looking at this week because we knew late last week that we most likely we're not going to be playing this game. So as a coaching staff, what we decided to do is we're gonna take a look at it as a bye week, and then early fall camp week as the same thing. So we're trying to obviously get back into some playing shape. The fortunate thing for us is that our practices are built around tempo, so we don't have to spend 20 minutes just running lines and everything like that. It's built into the practice. We're getting reps, and unfortunately we don't have a ton of depth, so the guys that are getting reps are getting a lot of reps, and so it's hopefully building up the game and abilities to be able to be in condition. But at the same time, we're also trying to be smart with our time. So going back to the basics, and if you look at it defensively, you have three basic things that you have to make sure that you're really good at when you play defense, and one of them is making sure that you're gap sound. And so you're lining up against any style of offense, whether it's a running team or passing team. Your gap sound, you always try to take away the run first, and then you got to be able to cover. So we're working, getting the basics back of where our coverage schemes and our checks and stuff, and then we're taking a look also because this is something that my defensive coordinators have always taught, even if we haven't played teams that run it, is we always try to teach the option. And we have an option team coming up down the road. And so we're taking advantage of being able to review some of those things and play the option. So we're doing that defensively, and then offensively, flip side, we're looking at a bunch of multiple fronts because the next 3 weeks we're playing 3 or 4 different fronts.
Yeah, that schedule is besides just being turned into sliced cheese and Swiss cheese there with the holes and then moving everything around. And then you get to come back and you've got some competition that I don't know that I want this coming back, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be fine once we get into next week. We'll be good with the people that we're playing. I think McPherson is a team that kind of we've already broken down a little bit from an offensive standpoint because they're going to run a 34 front. That's the one thing that we have done as coaching staff is even these teams that we haven't played, we've moved them, but every week we've gone into the game thinking that we were going to play them, so we broke them down. So now we're ahead of the game. We're ahead of the game on Sterling, ahead of the game on Kansas Westland, ahead of the game on Tabor, now ahead of the game on Avila. So we got four teams that we've broken down probably 3 or 4 games on already. So
we'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. We'll take our first break of the night here as we will take you up to the top of the hour when we'll join Wellsville football on the mothership and also on KOFO.com. If you're wanting to listen to that game, you can find it right now on KOFO.com. Click the sports link, or it may also be up in the hot links section. But if you click the sports link and then scroll down, look for the KOFO game of the week. Click on that and it'll take you to where you need to go. But we'll take our first break of the night. We are live from Primetime Grill and Fusion Alley, located at 2204 South Princeton Circle Drive in South Ottawa. Come on out and enjoy some delicious Kansas cuisine. You'll find appetizers and salads, burgers, sandwiches, prime courses, fresh sides, a kids menu, and sweets for desserts. It's all here at Primetime Grill. You're listening to the Kent Kessinger Show on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO and KOFO.com.
Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know your comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa or visit online at keithking.net.
Hey, next time you're at the store, don't forget the ingredients to make your own sunflower salad with mixed greens, olives, cheddar cheese, sunflower seeds, and dressing. Oh, and the 14-ounce ribeye with mashed potatoes and seasoned vegetables. And I'm sure you won't have trouble finding everything for the homemade peach and blackberry cobbler topped with oatmeal cookie crust and vanilla ice cream. What? You don't cook for your family like this every night? Oh, well, that's how the folks at Primetime Grill do it for you and your family. Dine in or order online at primetimegrill.com and get contactless curbside pickup. Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley in South Ottawa.
This is Craig Dingle of Dingle & Son Mortuary. When you buy a monument from us, you can count on us to set your stones so that it will remain stable through the years. We pour a substantial amount of fresh concrete with stabilizing piers for the base. A monument is a permanent recording of your family history, and you have every right to expect it to be standing straight and tall for future generations to see. We have been here for generations, and we'll be here to back our guarantee.
Dingle & Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323. It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
Well, hello there. We're back here on the Kent Kessinger Show live from Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley. Come on out and eat during the live while we're here during the show. I mean, it would be, you get good food. I mean, there's that. Plus, head coach Kent Kessinger is here. The staff is masked up. They're working to clean and sanitize and keep everything safe for everybody, plus the distancing of tables. So there's no reason for you not to come out and join us during the show. Plus that $1 off the Braves burger until close. So lots of reasons for you to come out here to Fusion Alley on and Primetime Grill on a Tuesday night, especially during the Kent Kessinger Show.
Good to know.
Good to know. Yes, exactly. And now you brought up at the end of the first segment there about being ahead and you're planning for a lot of your upcoming teams, being able to break down film. So as you start to get ready, let's say for McPherson, and you've got that broke down, do you change anything in what you do? Do you pinpoint what you think is going to work better? Kind of walk us through that process of breaking down that film.
Well, just depending on what opponent we're playing, we're always going to look at where our schemes best fit. One of the things that we did look at with McPherson is how they're playing their different coverages, and if we can do some different things, in regards to manipulating their coverages or getting. They're a pressure team. They like to be in a 34, so they're going to bring a lot of pressure. Whether it's outside linebackers or inside linebackers. So what we're looking to do is to be able to see if we can get some tells. It's like playing poker. If you can get some tells and get those things to your quarterbacks, they're going to be able to digest it a little bit more. It also gives us a chance here over the next couple of weeks to try some things that we might want to implement, because one of the things that I try to do as a coach is it's not necessarily that you look ahead, but you look at maybe putting in some plays that that you're going to practice for a couple of weeks before you actually implement them into the game. So that's what we're looking at this week. Things that we'll probably be using this week and the following week and the week after. We're trying to get a little bit of a look into practice and see how they work out for us.
And how does it affect planning, knowing that you'd only had one game under your belt? So you're still trying to feel out. Well, you were going to play multiple quarterbacks. You were going to see what you had, offensively, what you had all over the board. With you coming in with a lot of changes. So it's got to make it a lot harder to even try to game plan in that sense, because you're still trying to figure out what you really have.
Well, part of it, yeah, because we're trying to build depth. Especially this year, you never know when a kid's gonna, have to get stuck in quarantine. I mean, we've done it as a whole team, but what happens when you lose maybe a quarterback or a second quarterback? What do you do with your depth there, or a linebacker, or a secondary person, or whatever it might be? How do we pick up the guys there and be able to build some depth? So from our standpoint of being able to implement things, we just keep on running the basics of what we do and just getting a little bit more refined at that. And a lot of times, like these last 2 days, we've basically just been running our stuff against our defensive stuff, so we get multiple times and reps of running our stuff. So in the end, you're going to run what you do best, but it's a lot of it, like your question is how do we as coaches evaluate with just doing it in practice as opposed to games?
And of course, that's definitely got to be a difficult thing to do there with only having that one game under your belt. And do you go into it with kind of the same mentality like you did with Oklahoma Panhandle State, like it's just the first game of the season all over again?
Yeah, you have to do that from an approach, I think, is because it's the layoff that we've had. Now, granted, I'm hoping that we can do a few more tweaks. They have seen some things on the film for us, so we offensively we build our stuff in by what we consider as tiers. So we have our tier 1 plays, our tier 2 plays, and our tier 3 plays, and usually they're things that build off of each other. In the offensive coaching vernacular, you like to say that you marry things together. So you marry maybe a motion scheme out of a run game with a motion scheme out of a pass game, or a formation that looks like you're going to throw the ball all the time out of it. It ends up being a running formation for you too. So what we're trying to do is take a look at what we did in the first game, what everybody's seen us on film, and what's the next tier level that we might be able to get to. And do we get to it from our first week? Maybe somewhat, but we look how we're going to build it up for the next 3 weeks.
And then you have to kind of get that all worked out, and then you get Bethel the following week. And Bethel right now has just been really a fun team to watch in one sense. And you kind of said last year they were really doing well, and you kind of thought that they were going to be there. But I think this year, to me, they may be a dark horse to come out and win this conference outright.
They're the complete, aberration for the conference. Because if you look at the conference, or I don't know if that's not the word I'm going for, but they're the very different. They're the one difference than what everybody else is basically doing, because you start off with OPSU. OPSU was an out-of-conference foe, but they ran things out of spread. They tried to run some no-huddle, just like we do. and then we were going to play. At that point, we were moving to Sterling. Sterling was a little bit more of a run-heavy offense. They did a lot of motion stuff like we do, but they ran some wing T stuff out of it. So they were a little different, but that they had some similarities to what we did. And then we didn't play that game. We played Kansas Westland, who's a power team, but they like to go no huddle. So it's not a complete difference from the other three teams that you would have played. Tabor, same thing. They like to run the football, but they're going to run out of spread. Not much of a difference. McPherson, same thing. They're going to a little bit more run heavy now because they lost their quarterback in the third game of the season. He was their starter that they were slinging around a little bit with, so they're more run orientated. So they're a little bit changed from where they started, but it's not a complete change to everybody else. Then you throw in Bethel, complete change, triple option, flex bone type stuff is completely different than everybody else. So you gotta know that you're gonna change gears when you get to that week.
And that obviously with that kind of planning, it's a total 180. And defensively, they've got to get into that mindset now that it's not all about slinging the ball. They're going to have to play their role that's designed for them.
Yeah, it's very specific to, who's got the dive, who's got the quarterback, who's got the pitch. But you can't just line up and do the same thing every time. You got to mix it up to where it confuses their read progression. Because when you run triple option, your quarterback's reading the dive, whoever their dive indicator is, and then being able to run, the option part of that afterwards. So you got the dive, you got the quarterback, you got the pitch. So those things you throw in there, you've got to be very assignment sound, and you have to be able to get to the right place. And so it's a very disciplined offense that has to be run, but then you have to be a very disciplined defense. And so fortunately for us is, since we've had teams in the past, like Tabor used to run it in the past, obviously Bethel's run it more recently, is we usually take a time in the spring, although we didn't have spring this year. We take a time in the spring, we take a time during fall camp that we just dedicate to running against the option, because we figure that we're going to face somebody at some point or another that's going to run it.
Let's take a break right here, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the conference as a whole, because usually we're 3-4 games deep by now, and the conference picture kind of takes shape. But with this year being so disjointed, let's talk a little bit about it and kind of give some of our listeners an idea of how things are standing, and not is this team real, is this team not real, but just kind of a coach's standpoint with that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen everybody but St. Mary play, so at this point.
I think that's only because they probably haven't played.
They have not played. They're the only team we haven't seen play. We've watched everybody else.
Well, that's the best way to keep everything secret. Just don't play.
Yeah, it is top secret.
Don't forget, we're going to join Wellsville football at the top of the hour. And also coming up in just about 15 minutes, we're going to have a Homer call. And we will do the Homer call this week, which it's going to be hard to top that first week's group. But it's a good group. But this one might have some special stuff in it, just in its own. So we'll take a break. You're listening to the Kent Kessinger Show live from Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley here on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO and KOFO.com.
It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
This is Craig Dingle of Dingle and Son Mortuary. We love all of our kids and do stuff for them all the time, even the grown-up kids. I have a suggestion of something you can do that you may not have thought of. Make your funeral arrangements. You can't imagine how stressful it is for families who have no clue as to what their folks wanted or where to find all the information needed for the death certificate. We can help you make formal arrangements, or we can give you forms to fill out at home. Give us a call at any one of our funeral homes. We're glad to help.
Dingle Dangle & Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323.
Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know your comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa or visit online at keithking.net.
Have you ever seen a menu that actually made your mouth water? Well, wait till you taste it. The food, not the menu. Lunch at Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley just got better with their new lunch menu, including tasty salads, half sandwiches with a fresh side, a full sandwich, and more with fries, all your favorite beverages, and service that gets you back to work in time. You got to do lunch, so why not do it in prime time? The new lunch menu at Primetime Grill, available Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. See it online at primetimegrill.com. Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley in South Ottawa.
Today on Hey Culligan, softer equals better. Here's a tweet from @Itchy in Idaho. Hey Culligan, my laundry is so scratchy, I just cut myself on a cable knit sweater. Any suggestions? #send help. Hey @Itchy in Idaho. Yes, the Culligan high efficiency water softener will make that thing so soft it'll go from cable knit to cable knot. Itchy. #soft laundry. #already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Welcome back. Wow, my voice cracked on that one. That was weird. We are back live with the Kent Kessinger Show from Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley. You can order online and pick up curbside out front at primetimegrill.com. You can also call 785-242 P as in Paul, T as in Tom, G as in great, that's great coach, and 1. So the number 1. So you multiple ways to get your food here from Primetime Grill. Coach, as we talked about, or as we left them with that cliffhanger, we'll talk a little bit about the conference. You've got St. Mary has played nobody right now. OU with just 1 game, and everybody else has at least played 2. Well, no, I take that back. Southwestern has just played 1, so never mind. But Bethel, Kansas Wesleyan sitting atop the conference, which I don't think would be a shock coming out of the media day. McPherson and Avila at 3-1, Avila at 2-1, and then everybody else has just kind of dropped off the face of the earth when it comes to the record. They're 0 for the season right now. Well, of course, Ottawa 1-0, but that's a non-conference game. So, as we to get everybody caught up and kind of an idea, and you've looked at film, out of all these teams, which one do you think is going to give Ottawa University some of the stiffest competition?
Well, I think that each one of them, has a little bit of kind of nervousness for us. I mean, going into this week, had we been playing Avila, we're going to go against a really fast up-tempo team. Their offense is very up-tempo. That can cause some defensive issues for us. The triple option that we've talked about with Bethel, I think that there's some definite scheme things that you got to get into. They're a much stronger team. Their offense is really putting up some points and yards. Defensively, it looks like they're still giving up, quite a bit of yards and some points in some games. But that's hard to tell, because their offense, like this last weekend, they scored 83 points against Mid-American Nazarene. McPherson, like I mentioned, we got coming up our next opponent. They have a really, really big back. And they get in a lot. We're kind of relying on their backs a little bit more since their quarterback went down. So they're going to run the football and pound it, and it was a very quick game. Friends is going to run the football a little bit. Those are a little down the road, but I look at obviously our biggest competition is going to be here with McPherson and Bethel next, and the unknown of St. Mary. And they're really unknown. But having watched the teams, I kind of like Kansas Wesleyan has two quarterbacks that play really well. I don't think they're exactly the same team that they were last year. Obviously, they had some studs on their football team. Bethel is very much improved over the last several years. Offensively, they're putting up a lot of points. Defensively, it's hard to tell because they're putting up so many points offensively. Avila's played some tough games. I was really surprised that it was a 40-6 game over Bethany, because I watched the Bethany and Kansas Wesleyan game, and it looks like Bethany's got some really good speedsters in their offense. Returning quarterback. I didn't get a chance to watch that one on film yet, but that was a surprise that Avila was that much. So Avila's, I think, are going to be a really good test down the road for all of us in the KCAC.
You mentioned the running back. Is it the same kid from last year for McPherson?
Big 99.
Yes, that is Lemicio Hill. He came into that game last year with Ottawa and was able to pick up 48 yards on the ground, but also had a rushing TD. If there was the epitome of a bowling ball,
he's a load. He is definitely a load. And matter of fact, they will. They've done this in each one of their games. They go to a short yardage kind of goal line package, and he runs their quarterback like single wing type stuff. Yeah.
When it comes to a big back like that, what's the strategy on taking him down? Do you got to go for the legs? What when you try to tackle him, because you're not going to be able to arm tackle the guy.
Well, I think that what I've seen people where they've had success with him is, he's fairly nimble for a big guy, but obviously not getting him to be able to go downhill hard. So making him, slow down in the backfield and then restart has been, I think, been very advantageous for the defenses that have gone up against him. So I think you got to do that, and then obviously don't let him get into inside the 10-yard line where they put that back in. Make him be in long yard situations where it takes him out of the game.
And of course, we'll delve probably a little bit more into this next week, or probably ask the same questions, because that's what I'll do, is I'll forget. But you mentioned McPherson's starting quarterback is out. So with that change, how is that? You mentioned that they've gone to a more run-oriented. So are they not as confident with their passing game?
Well, the quarterback that they had in there was a slinger. He was a kid out of a junior college in California. We had actually looked at him a little bit too, and he could sling it, and they were throwing the ball, around, running a lot of, mesh stuff, air raid stuff, that some of the similar things that we run, I noticed that they were running. And he was pitching it around. He's a really good decision maker and could throw the ball really good. I don't think that their second guy is not as strong as a thrower that he had been. And plus, he kind of got thrust into it, So the first game that he went in, they decided, try to take a little pressure off him and run the football. Kind of, if you watched last night's Chiefs and Patriots game, they put Hoyer in and Stidham, and they tried to run the football a little bit more against the Chiefs.
And so it's going to add to it's an extra wrinkle to add to that game next week for Ottawa, which again, Avila is off for this week until the spring. So a week from this Saturday is the first game back for Ottawa University against McPherson. So with the quarterback change and that, of course, there's just going to be so many storylines coming in, because I mean it's again like a first game all over for this team, for Ottawa University.
Yeah, well, this will be, let's see, they won their opening game, they lost their second game, and then it was the Sterling game, third game of the season, where their quarterback went out, and I think it was in the first or second series. It was really early. So they've played a game, at least a game, maybe two. They went out in the Tabor game. So they'd beaten Sterling at the beginning of the year, and then they lost to Bethel, and then I think that's what they did. But anyways, he went out in the Tabor game, and then that was they played Tabor with their backup quarterback, and then they played also Friends with their backup quarterback.
Yeah, if you take a look at these last two games with Tabor and Friends, it was a one-score victory.
And they had a special teams and defensive score in some of those games as well.
And that's huge in itself. Anytime you can get some points somewhere else other than the offense, that's a good chance you're coming away with a victory.
I think that's where, you got to look at these guys as being a pretty decent football team because of the fact that they've figured out ways to score on defense. They've figured out ways to score on special teams, as well as offense, while their offense is getting a little bit more used to their next quarterback. And I mean, that's something that you, as a coach, you look at and you say, all right, they got a pretty decent team because they're willing to pick up the slack in those different areas.
Let's go ahead and take our final break right here, because when we come back, I want to make sure that I give plenty of room for Homer Call, because there are a couple cuts that might be a little bit longer than normal, but there's reasons for that. There's always a method to the madness. But you know what? Before we do, we got to say hello to some people real quick. Amy, hello, and it's good to have you listening this week.
And so my mother-in-law and my parents are listening too. I know that we have some people through Ottawa University. I will not name any names because I was told to keep it on the down low. Anyways, former coaches, that are listening as well. So we can add a few more people to our list. Don't know why they want to be anonymous, but
mystery listeners.
History former coaching Ottawa University listeners.
Wow. So I mean, we're talking like head coach.
Yeah.
Dave Dallas?
No, not football.
Oh, okay. Well.
Although I'm sure Dave's listening the same way.
We could only hope. Say hello to the Grogans. Good. They're listening. My mom, my aunt, the modem back at the station. There's eyes for you there, modem. So when we get our hellos out of the way, we'll take our final break. When we come back, it's Homer Call. And you can always join us here live during the show at Primetime Grill. But you know what? Don't forget, there's also Fusion Alley here where you can find yourself having some good, clean fun. And it is the home of the Ottawa University Braves bowling teams. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Kent Kessinger Show on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO and KOFO.com.
This is Walt Dengel of Dengel & Son Mortuary. In 1961, I joined my father Lewis in the business to become the second generation. In 82, my son Craig joined me and became the third generation at Dengel & Son. I am so pleased the son in our name will still be appropriate for years to come because Chase, Craig's son, has just joined the firm to become the fourth generation. I'm sure my father Louis would be proud that the business he started is still in the family and still going strong.
Dengel & Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323.
Hey, next time you're at the store, don't forget the ingredients to make your own sunflower salad with mixed greens, olives, cheddar cheese, sunflower seeds, and dressing. Oh, and the 14-ounce ribeye with mashed potatoes and seasoned vegetables. And I'm sure you won't have trouble finding everything for the homemade peach and blackberry cobbler topped with oatmeal cookie crust and vanilla ice cream. What? You don't cook for your family like this every night? Oh, well, that's how the folks at Primetime Grill do it for you and your family. Dine in or order online at primetimegrill.com and get contactless curbside pickup. Primetime Grill at Fusion Alley in South Ottawa. Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know you're comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa or visit online at keithking.net.
It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education. Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
Join Macy's and help fund the world's most promising research during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Here's how you can help. Make a donation today at Macys.com/MacysGives. And also give back when you shop at any Macy's store by rounding up your purchase amount and donating your extra change up to 99 cents. Every donation will help fund world-class breast cancer research. Make your donation to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation at Macy's stores and Macys.com/MacysGives.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We gotta build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Yes, it is the most favorite segment of all time for this coach's show. It beats out the 25-cent pyramid.
Oh, that was very mostly difficult, to get.
Well, but that's the point.
Yeah. That's a visual one. You gotta be able to see the categories, and we were just talking through the categories. So
well, but you have to do what you have to do, and this. And actually, let me also. It's actually the 25-cent and a half bag of chips pyramid.
Yes.
So, but which may be coming back here in the next week or so.
Okay.
So
bringing up the old games.
We're gonna see what we can do here. But now it is time for week 2 of the Homer Call tournament. Of course, for anyone who is unfamiliar, we find some of the best of the worst calls from the previous week in the KCAC, and then we I do have one that's outside of the conference too, that was sent by a young strapping man who used to kick for the Auto University Braves, so we might have to play that one too, and as a possibility here, as Homer Call 1. But we play them, then we decide a winner, and that winner moves on to the Grand Championship at the end of the season, which we have to decide if we're going to do like a split season championship. And maybe they meet in a national title game type thing.
We could do that, yeah.
That's something to think about. So we're going to get started here. This one is coming from the Friends McPherson soiree. And let's take a listen to this one. So we will hit the magic play button.
Third down and about 4.5, looking to throw. And leaving the pocket and throwing it away. There's going to be no flag on the attempted pass. I think that is probably uncatchable anyways.
Yeah, probably uncatchable there.
Pass was intended for Clouds, the running back out of Bartlesville.
Bulldog's able to create some pressure there, though, and get in his face and errant pass.
So 3 and out. Good job by McPherson.
One thing we have seen from Friends already twice early on these first 2 drives is they're showing jet motion. They haven't involved it yet, but there is a receiver running all the way across the quarterback's face.
The punt is away. It's going to be received at the 21. This is Reed, who's got some room. Reed to the 50, to the 40. He's got 2 men to beat. To the 30, to the 20, and Reed is gone. Touchdown, McPherson. There are no flags on the field.
Melvin Reed is explosive.
That's some good color right there.
I think that pass was uncatchable. Yeah, I think it was too. Yeah, good. That broadcasting school is really working out well.
It is.
But did you know Melvin Reed is explosive?
I do now.
So you just never know. That's why I said some of these clips are going to be a little bit longer, because just some of the things leading up to where I want to be is they're just so good. You can't get past that. And so that is clip number 1.
All right.
Clip number 2 comes from the Avila Friends game, and this one, well, we'll just take a listen.
Trips to the right. Dowdy back to pass.
Little flare off to the left. He could get some running room. Goes out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. That was Dawson Markham. 32 seconds left, and Friends is on the 11-yard line. Here we have two receivers both sides. Down shotgun. Again, 2-minute offense. Look in the end zone. Has a man wide open. And Friends scores. 2-point conversion now to tie the ball game. That touchdown was to Dawson Markham. Wide open in the flat of the end zone. Snap to Dowdy. Slant inside. Friends is wanting a penalty called. Receiver was hit. Incomplete pass on a slant route. And the Falcons are wanting a pass interference, but no flag was thrown.
That was long.
And brutal.
Yes, and brutal.
And just imagine listening to a 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah, a lot of spaces.
Very short sentences.
Short sentences, lots of spaces.
That's not even sound bites. Not even talking about sound bites.
No.
And stop, start. What in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch was going on the field? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
So that is choice number 2. Now, last year, no, it wasn't last year. It was the 2018 grand champion is making another appearance, trying to get back to be the two-time champion. And let's take a look at this gem, or listen to it.
Well, now you got to be careful. Harbor in the backfield. Schofield, it's going to be he threw it late, and there was a receiver out there, T.C. Smith. Are they going to rule him down? I don't know that the knee was down. They're going to talk it over. T.C. Smith was in the area, even though Schofield wasn't out of the pocket. They're getting everybody, and I think it's going to be a safety. Oh, they're going to call intentional grounding, and that's going to be a safety if it occurred in the end zone. T.C. Smith was in the area. Oh, I don't think so. T.C. Smith was running an out pattern. He was near where the ball was thrown. I can't agree with that one. And
just like Daryl Hall and John Oates, I can't go for that.
I was waiting for him to say, "Come on, man." Come on. What are you thinking?
It was like a mix between disappointed parents and a child.
Yes. For criminy sakes.
I just can't agree with that.
No.
At all.
You can't make me.
No, at all. So let's see real quick. Let's just throw this one up. This is
the outsider.
This is the outsider.
Eric McCormick is set. Snap, set, kick is up. And that kick is good! The Ave Maria Gyres have defeated the Warner Royals.
The Warner Boyles?
Royals.
Royals.
Yeah,
okay.
not Boyles,
Yeah.
but Royals. I'm going to assume this had to have been a
Ave
Texas.
Maria.
Yeah.
No. It was Ave Maria and Warner from Florida. In the NAIAs. I think it's the Sun Conference.
Can you sing just Ave Maria for us?
No, absolutely not. Not after 3 weeks off of talking at practice and 2 days of not talking but yelling. So
I feel you, player. I feel you.
Well, they're a long ways away.
So What are you going to call him? What are you going to choose? What are you?
I got to go with number 3. I got to go with the one-time champion.
That's right. So let's throw it up real quick. One more time. Today's winner.
Well, now you got to be careful. Harbor in the backfield. Schofield, it's going to be he threw it late, and there was a receiver out there. T.C. Smith, are they going to rule him down? I don't know that the knee was down. They're going to talk it over. T.C. Smith was in the area, even though Schofield wasn't out of the pocket. They're getting everybody, and I think it's going to be a safety. They're going to call intentional grounding, and that's going to be a safety if it occurred in the end zone. T.C. Smith was in the area.
Intentional grounding. Offense. Foul all down. In the end zone.
I don't think so. T.C. Smith was running an out pattern. He was near where the ball was thrown. I can't agree with that one.
Yeah. You know, the boo in the background is sweet. It reminds me of in The Princess Bride. She says, Boo, you had everything you needed.
Homer called, you just don't disappoint.
You know, the boo in the background and the disappointment. That's gonna be, that's two in the bucket right now that are gonna be hard to choose from.
Any of the other two could go to the wild card. What do you think?
I think we had better choices for wild cards in the first one. So yeah, those are not wild cards. I don't think. I think that we had a clear-cut winner today with the Sterling play-by-play.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you joining us. We're going to wrap it up here, but good God, we get to talk football next week with a game coming up.
Right.
How exciting is that?
Yeah, that'll be new and different.
Something that hasn't happened since the first week of September.
Yeah, since September, yeah. Let's hope that we can do it more than just once a month.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here this evening. I want to say thanks to Coach K for joining us. I want to say thanks to Lars Johnson back at the station, who has done this for the past 3 years. This is his final coach's show. Heck of a job, kid.
Congratulations, Lars.
And we'll see what is in store for us next week with the Kent Kessinger show.
New horizons.
So join us next week live from Primetime Grill starting at 7:06 following the local news. Thanks for listening to the Kent Kessinger show on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO and KOFO.com.
Sports, information, and entertainment in East Central Kansas. KOFO K279CS Ottawa, where keeping you informed comes first.
Single receiver split wide each side. Hunsaker going in motion right to left. Pitch to Money. Money is in trouble as he's hit and dropped down for a loss in the backfield. Back at the 47-yard line, I believe, is the forward progress they're going to give him. And so it's going to be second down and 13 yards as they got to get to the 40-yard line. With 7 seconds to go, I believe Wellsville's just going to let the clock run out here and go into halftime with the lead. We've reached halftime here at Eureka with the Wellsville Eagles on top of the Eureka Tornadoes by a score of 6-0. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll recap the first half from here at Eureka High School. I am Luke Queen, KOFO Sports.
Everyone's grateful for a roof over their head, but how often do you think about it? The actual roof. It usually only comes to mind when a storm blows through, and you hope your home stays safe and dry, till you find that leak, and that leak, and that leak. Next time the weather turns bad, don't hope. Call Reeve Roofing. Stephen Reeve and his crew will come inspect your roof and give you a free estimate about damage, and they'll help guide you through the claim process with your insurance company. They really do mean it when they say, Reeve the roofing to us. Reeve Roofing, 913-488-8144. 913-488-8144.
Where can you find competitively priced premium gas, great food selection, clean bathrooms and retail?
A great selection of everyday products from household goods to cleaning supplies to food. None other than Burt's at I-35 in Wellsville.
Advent Health Ottawa is keeping you safe by having all team members and visitors wear masks, practice social distancing strategies, taking temperature checks, and utilizing enhanced deep cleaning procedures. Your assistance and understanding are greatly appreciated because at Advent Health Ottawa, nothing is more important than you.
It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
Let's get back to business with Local IQ. Get the power of a national expert marketing team combined with deep roots in 260 communities, making them the partner you need to jumpstart your journey to full recovery. Results matter now more than ever, and Local IQ provides uniquely engaged local audiences, industry-leading technology, intelligent creative design, deep digital marketing expertise, and insights from partnering with hundreds of thousands of businesses nationwide. Talk to Stephen Bradley, your local IQ marketing expert today at 785-242-4700, extension 108.
Yeah, welcome back here to Eureka Junior Senior High School. We're at halftime of this KOFO Game of the Week. Luke Queen down here in Eureka, where the Wellsville Eagles, coming in 0-3 on the year, are ahead of the 4-0 Eureka Tornadoes by a score of 6-0. It was a 79-yard kickoff return to open up the game by Jacob Lee, tackled down at the 6-yard line. Wellsville ran it in just 18 seconds into the ball game. It was 6-0 Wellsville, and we have been stuck at that score now for 23 minutes and 42 seconds. Wellsville has done a tremendous job against a high-powered Eureka offense. Eureka came in on the evening averaging 47 points a ball game, and Wellsville has shut them out through 2 quarters here this evening. It has just been a defensive battle up front, won by Wellsville so far. In Eureka coming in at 4-0, 47 points a game. Their lowest output of the season was in week number 2 when they defeated Erie 34-7. Wellsville looking to get their first victory of the year. They've lost a couple tight wins to Anderson County 22-21 back in week number 2. They lost at Iola in week 3 20-6, and this is really week 5, which was taking place last Friday. Wellsville coming back after a quarantine of a couple weeks, had this game postponed from last Friday till tonight. So Eureka's been waiting a little over the week since their last game, which was a victory over Humboldt 38-6 in week 4. Wellsville losing a game due to that COVID quarantine in week number 4, and they are trying to get that first victory. This would be a district victory as well for the Eagles, so it could be a huge momentum swing for the Eagles as they have unable to get a win yet on the season. But here tonight, they are in front at the half. It's just 6-0. Eureka will get the ball to start the second half, but Wellsville defense is really giving Eureka very little. Eureka one big pass play about 30 yards on 3rd down and long that set them up in midfield. Have just run a handful of plays in Wellsville territory. Wellsville spent the entire first quarter, I believe they only ran one play in their own territory offensively in the first quarter, but only able to get those 6 points. Really the story for Wellsville has been penalties. They had at least on one drive, we ran 2nd down 5 consecutive times after penalties, and 4 of those 5, Wellsville had gained a first down, but kept shooting themselves in the foot, backing themselves up, and it really stalled out a couple drives there. Eureka's done a nice job of really containing Wellsville when they've had the opportunity, But again, it is Wellsville on top by the score of 6-0 here in Eureka at halftime. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll have more of the KOFO High School Game of the Week halftime show. You're listening to high school football, now on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
Buying or selling a home or property, contact the experts at Layton Real Estate. When you do, you'll be the beneficiary of 50 years plus of real estate experience to protect you both financially and emotionally. Layton Real Estate at LaytonRE.com or call 785-883-2379.
Peckham's Pumpkin Patch is now open Saturdays from